Hey everybody, it's Daniel and Guy again, Pharaoh Staub at Keller Williams. Today we wanted to talk about strategies for winning in multiple offer situations.
Yes, and first I'll quickly explain what a multiple offer is. And then what Daniel and I did, which is interesting, is we both wrote our own list of what we do. And spoiler alert, I don't imagine it's much different, but we haven't looked at our lists and we're going to go through it and see kind of what we
share some tricks of the trade.
See what we do if there's anything different. Multiple offers, it is what it sounds like. It's when multiple offers come in on a home within a short time frame. And as a listing agent, if you're representing the seller, as you start getting those multiple offers in, you then disclose to agents that we have a multiple offer situation and the highest and best offer is due usually within 24 hours, so tomorrow by 6 p.m. And then all the agents will get their highest and best offers in and the sellers will go from there.
So it's another way to say it is, how do you win when there's multiple people competing for the same house? Yeah. And if you're a buyer in this market, you don't need us to tell you about multiple offer situations because you've probably experienced it. You probably lost a house.
Yeah. It's painful sometimes because as an agent, you're trying to, you don't want your client to
overpay.
Just roll over.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you don't win it, it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Especially if you know how much they like the house.
It does. And you're like, you never want your people to overpay for the house. You also want them to get the house they want. And, I think that getting clarity around what the house is worth, regardless of the listing price, that fair market value is important so that you can be like, all right, this is about what it's worth.
Before we go into this too, something I've noticed, I'm interested if you've noticed it, real estate agents, everyone always says, we're trying to, how am I going to go above the offer price when I already think it's overpriced? And yes, that does happen. But what I've noticed a little bit in our market is because agents know they're going to get multiple offers, they're pricing it maybe
a little under,
knowing that you're going to get 10, 15 over.
Yeah, you're good.
And I think should be notable.
Yeah, I think it's so important to figure out, regardless of the list price, what is this house worth?
Yeah.
Because the list price is not always indicative of value.
Yeah.
Because they may be doing that, or they may be going the other way.
Yeah.
Saying,
let's throw
a huge number out there and just see what happens. All right, so strategies for winning in multiple offer situations. My first one was be wealthy. No, because here's the thing. If you can pay for a house...
I thought we were doing this seriously.
We are doing this seriously. This is serious. Be wealthy.
That's okay.
Let me tell you, if someone offers cash and they're even $15,000 lower than you, they're going to get the house over you because they can close in 2 weeks, because there's no required appraisal. Cash always wins. So I do say that a little tongue-in-cheek, be wealthy. But my point is that if you're going up against cash and you don't have cash, you're not going to get the house.
Yeah.
What was your first one?
My first one is... I've got a couple. I've got 3 things that I pretty much do, but I'm going to start. No closing costs.
Yeah, you don't.
If you're in a multiple offer situation, you just right off the bat should not be paying, you should not be asking for one dime of your own closing costs.
Right. Now, buyers' closing costs are normally 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So on a $300,000 house, what do you think they normally are? 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so $6,000, and a lot of times, especially in markets that are a little more balanced, you can get the seller to pay for those.
Yeah,
But in this market,
it's impossible.
Yeah, the seller's just going to be like, no, we're going to go with someone who isn't asking us to pay.
Which goes to your point of be wealthy.
Be wealthy.
Because there are buyers that, especially in the price range that's so hot right now, there's a lot of first-time home buyers that don't have that extra cash, or they do, but it's in their emergency fund. It's money they shouldn't be spending, or it's money they don't have set aside.
Right.
So it does go back to Daniel's first point. If you can cover your own closing costs, that's huge.
Yeah. It's almost like paying your own closing cost is what it used to be to save for that 20% down payment. Because now everyone does like 5% down because interest rates are so low. and PMI is so much lower than it used to be. But now it's like saving for your own closing costs in a multiple offer situation. It's just so hard to get your closing costs paid.
Yeah.
That was my second one as well. What was your third one? Or your second one, I guess.
We'll go short inspection period.
Yeah.
7, maybe 10 days.
Yeah. So if standard is 12 to 14 days, shorten it up. You should still be able to get a good licensed home inspector in there in a week. I mean, my experience, you can. And you can, a lot of times, if you can't, you can go back to them after you get them to, do the deal with you and be like, look, we wrote it for 7 days. We actually need 9. We couldn't get our home inspector out. Most of the time, they'll be like, all right.
Yeah, they should understand.
I had that one too, except I put waive inspection contingency. Now, I've maybe had 2 clients do this ever that weren't contractors, and I'm not super comfortable recommending it, but it is an incredibly effective strategy at winning multiple offer situations.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you should ever waive your home inspection contingency, but I am saying if you did, it would really improve your chances of getting a house.
In Nashville, they are.
I know, and in Dallas.
So it's like, we're having this conversation in Chattanooga, but you go 2 hours north of here.
And people are waiving
and they're
them all the
waiving
time.
appraisals and they're waiving inspections
Yep.
because the market is just...
So it's coming. I mean, and
Could be.
It does make me uncomfortable, and I'm sure it does you too. But if you feel like you know a good bit about houses, that is a way to get an edge for sure. You just got to be real confident if you do it, because you can't just back out if
Yeah, you're going to lose your earnest money minimum. And you might you don't know the seller's personality. They could be extremely upset and try to go for more.
Yeah, if you back out, even though you didn't have an inspection contingency, it puts you at default.
Yeah, you might as well hand over your earnest money, and there could be other repercussions.
I also put don't ask for a home warranty. It kind of ties into your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, a home warranty, you can buy it at any time. It's like $400, $500. Covers your HVAC and hot water heater, some other stuff, electrical wiring.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't have that one on my list.
It's basically part of closing costs,
Yeah. All right, I've got this is a fun one I think that we both do that we can discuss is the as-is contingency.
Yeah.
I like to do it because it's a way to you're not waiving your home inspection. You still have the right to inspect, but you're saying you're going to take the house as is. You're not going to nickel and dime the seller for little things that pop up in the home inspection, but you still have the right to back out if your home inspector comes back and he or she tells you there's a huge laundry list of things and it just scares you.
Yeah.
Then you can still back out.
Yeah. So what he's saying is you still do your inspection. You can still terminate, but you're saying to the buyer up front, to the seller up front, I'm not going to come back and hit you up.
Yeah, and so that gives the seller peace of mind that you're inspecting the home, which why would you not allow as a seller your buyer to inspect the home, and but that's it. You're not gonna come back with a huge list. We want you to fix the door that doesn't latch, and there should be another GFCI outlet in the kitchen, or whatever.
A TPR valve on the water heater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'd say my last thing is ask the listing agent for the preferred closing date. Have your agent ask the listing agent, hey, what's the perfect time frame for these folks?
That's really good.
Because a lot of
really
lenders can do it in 25 days, 24 days.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference. I didn't have that, and I normally go from the mindset of just do something. Don't overextend your closing. Get it done as quickly as
35
possible.
35 days or less.
Yeah, but that's a good point. You ask because you don't know. They may really want 60 days, and if you can do 60 days, not a lot of other buyers can.
Exactly, and I also ask for their preferred title agency.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really, if the title company underwrites with Stewart or First American, all my preferred title companies underwrite with Stewart or First American. So it's the same policy.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I care if I can have control, but if it's multiple offers, and
Yeah, if it's multiple offers,
it's-
that's one thing
the same policy. Who
brush it
cares?
under the rug.
Yeah.
You're not going to make a big stink about that. I've got get your buyer to put down as much earnest money as possible.
Yeah.
I think that's strong. And then, what about writing letters?
Oh, you should. I hate it. There's just a part of me that's just like, can we please give you $350,000 for your home that you paid $250 for, please? There's just the pride in me is like, we don't need to stoop to that level. That said, I encourage all my buyers to.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
It's you just play the game.
And they work.
Oh, I know
They work on a certain type of seller.
They do.
Most sellers, but
I knew an agent once who used to take all the letters that the buyers would submit. This was a listing agent. All the letters the buyers would submit in multiple offer situations and not show them to his seller or her seller because that listing agent didn't want the seller to be influenced by emotional.
And it's a good idea.
I just wonder if you get to the closing table and they're like, thank you so much. Did you read our letter about our tragic situation?
Oh.
Or like if someone like mentioned a tragic situation in a letter and then at closing the seller's like, so blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you didn't read it? It could be, sorry, off the rails. Write
You
letters.
have to play it off.
If you can,
you have to start acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, letters are good.
Ugh.
Yeah, we could go on for a lot of funny stories about letters. I had a client, just real quick, that it was this past year, we went through so many multiple offer situations that they just got lazy. And I said, send me we had done 2-3 letters before. I'm like, hey, send me your letter. And they sent it to me with the offer, and I called them, and I'm like, you guys got really lazy. They did not change a thing. All they changed was the address and the owner's name. I was like, you guys, there are some significant differences that we've got to change.
We can't wait to have coffee on the porch
on the
in the
huge
mornings.
front porch. It's like
It's like a stoop. Dude, I wrote a client's letter once. I wrote a letter for a client because they couldn't. We had to get it in like 30 minutes. And I was an English major.
Yeah, I bet it was a really good
rank out
letter.
the BS. And so I wrote, my husband and I do this. We love long walks with the dogs under the shady trees in the neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
You went above and beyond. That's all that matters.
yeah, unless I was the reason we didn't get
That
it.
is all that matters.
Thank you. All right. Well, those are strategies for winning in multiple offer situations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.